As human beings, we are so clueless that our true nature is revealed at any time in our lives, which we did not anticipate. Firstly, I would like to recommend you to hit the bell icon as well as press the subscribe button before getting into the story. It would be nice if we call my ex-wife Kathy, 31 years old, and me, Shan, 34 years old. In the past, Kathy worked as an air hostess for an airline company. I was also the director of a company at that time. It was on a flight that I met her. As part of an official trip, I was traveling from New York to London. I had a problem with anxiety at the time. As a result, I got a panic attack while on the flight when she came and held me and gave me water to calm me down. It was possible for every hostess to do this, but when she touched my hand, it was different. My body felt a very unique sense of pleasure that I had never experienced before. It was because of her presence that I was feeling a great deal of relaxation. It was very comfortable for me to be with her. After a while, she went to another person to talk with. As it was the time to night, all of the passengers had fallen asleep by that time. In response to what Kathy had done for me, I went to her and thanked her for all the help she had provided. As soon as I walked into their cabin, she was surprised to see me. In response to my thanks, she replied that it was her duty to do so. We began to talk and then she told me a little bit about herself. She was from Los Angeles and she also told me a little bit about her family. Besides telling her about myself, I also told her about my work. In case she should have any problems at her in the future, I gave her my number so that she could call me at any time. We then got to know each other better and became friends as a result. After I had reached London, I invited her to join me for a meal and coffee. My invitation was accepted, but she only had a short period of time to stay there, less than 12 hours, before she had to fly back to New York City. As soon as I arranged a beautiful dinner for her, she arrived with gorgeous looks and a gorgeous smile. On that fateful day, I honestly fell in love with her. Nevertheless, I could not express this to her because it would not be a good act for us to do so before we were acquainted. There were only a few hours between us when we met. Anyway, she came and I just could not get my eyes off her because she was so beautiful. The dinner we had at that time helped us to become much closer and to become friends. Unfortunately, she had to go for her flight, so she told me that she would be meeting me in New York as soon as she could. I don't want her to go, but I don't know what else I can do to prevent her from leaving. When I got her phone number, I was satisfied that I had got something that would allow me to contact with her in the future. As soon as I finish my work in 3 days, I'll get back to New York again. This flight was not the one that she was on. When I reached New York, I tried to get in touch with her, but she was on a flight at that time. It was my desire to meet her, but she was not there at the time. As he told me, she would be departing in 2 days from there, and I would be able to meet her on the way. After I spotted the information about the flight, I was reminded to go to the airport after 2 days to meet her at the exact time she'd chosen. The anticipation of meeting her was very high for me. Although I noticed she was coming with a man in uniform, perhaps a member of the airport's security team, there was a sudden shift in my heart and I thought she was in love with someone, so I felt bad. As a result, I returned. The feeling of being sick lasted for 2 days. I received a call from her after a period of 2 days. When she asked me where I was, "You normally texted me hundreds of times a day, but now you have just disappeared. Can you tell me what happened?" She asked me to meet up with her after I told her there was nothing to worry about. The reason I could not come was that I was busy at work. According to her, she saw me departing from the airport on that particular day. "You got mistakenly confused that I was the one." Then I replied that I am very busy at the moment. Having said that, I cut the call and we would talk later. Several days later, she came to see me in my office and after our meeting, she asked me what had happened and why I had not spoken with her. I responded that I did not want to ruin your relationship. I explained the situation to her. When she heard that, she asked what it meant. I said that I had seen you and your boyfriend come out of the airport when you arrived there at that day." Suddenly, she started laughing and then said that that was not my boyfriend. He was my cousin. There was something wrong with your understanding of us. As she laughed, she asked me why I am so worried about my relationship, that you're so concerned about me. My answer was that I was also having to get to work, so I was unable to meet you and leave as well. When she saw my red face on that day, she changed the topic and told me to come to the coffee with her. It was very important for me that she knew my feelings, so I told her what was going on with me. It was then that our relationship began. The two of us started dating. However, our relationship was more of a virtual one due to the fact that she always travels a lot. After 5 months of relationship, she told me that I should meet her parents. In order to propose marriage to her, I bought her a bouquet and some sweets to her house. I would like to mention that her father and mother were very nice people and that her father was very religious. Meeting them was a pleasant experience for me. I was also liked by them. Regardless of that, they were willing for her to be my wife when the time came. After 2 months of dating, we decided to get married. There was a lot of excitement surrounding the wedding. We had a great time and we had a lot of fun. My heart swelled with joy when I saw her happy. In order to celebrate our honeymoon, we planned a trip. However, due to the nature of her job, we were unable to spend more time together. There were several times when I told her that she needed to leave her job, but she did not want to resign. I did not force her to do this, but I was a bit upset because she usually spends a lot of her time in the air. It bothered me a lot. Even after 20 days of getting married, she got back to work. I was losing control of things and I also had some emotional and physical needs that had to be met. However, she did not seem to be careful about it. After I complained to her several times about this, she still appeared to be helpless in her eyes. It was after 21 days that she returned home. Once she came back to home, so it was decided that on the upcoming Sunday, we would head to visit my sister, who was suffering from a severe illness. She received a phone call on Saturday night. In order to talk, she went to the balcony. I did not ask her about the call she received. In any case, it was the first time she got the call and she got up from where she was just to hold the call for the brief moment. In addition, I have noticed that she has been glued to her cell phone for a long period of time at night. As she told me without asking, she had been chatting with her childhood friend for a long time and she had gotten her number from her childhood friend. During the course of the conversation, I reminded her about the visit to my sister's house the night before. On Sunday, however, she said that she had to visit a friend of hers. I argued that you know how important it is to visit her, and it was agreed about 2 weeks ago that we would do so. However, she said that she had to meet a friend since she was traveling to another city this evening. We need to meet before she leaves for her trip. She made a conflict with me and fought with me when I tried to convince her to come along with me. This was the first time she had misbehaved badly. Nevertheless, I ignored her and went to visit my sister alone. There was a fight between her and me as well. I told her once again that she should leave the job as soon as possible. She did not obey what I had told her to do. I would say that it would be a beneficial experience for both of us if she left her job. When I talked to her father about it, he said that since you are now her husband, you should encourage her. It was clear to me that she had not listened to what I had said. After that, I stopped asking her because every time I asked her, she made a conflict with me. As soon as that happened, I thought things would be under control because the same home every week and went to the airport after 3 days layover. It was great to be able to spend time together. The truth is that our sex life was fine and we had a very romantic relationship when it comes to sex. Once after we had it, she was constantly using her phone. In the middle of the night, I asked her who she was chatting with at this time. With a nervous expression on her face, when I asked her again, she replied that it was her friend who was sending her jokes. On that day, I ignored it and fell asleep. At some point in the morning, my eyes opened up. As Kathy was in the washroom, she was talking in a soft voice to someone on cell phone. As soon as I knocked on the door, she stopped talking and opened the door. I then asked her who she was talking to. She opened the door. She said she was just singing songs for fun. After saying that, she left the room saying she had to make food, after which she would fly in the evening. It was after breakfast that I went to the office for the rest of the day. I was thinking about her and why she had lied to me. The truth is that I did not ask her anything to her. It was my intention to ask her briefly why she was telling me lies, but she went to her job before I could ask her. She did not come home for 7 days in a row. On the 8th day, she returned home and I asked her about what was going on and asked her to give me her cell phone. Immediately, she rushed to another room and said that she had to call someone because it was very important. As she walked up to me, she handed the phone to me. As for her cell phone, I checked it but did not find anything on it either. Clearly, everything had been deleted from her cell phone. There was a question mark in the chat message that I saw in the chat. It was a message that came from the number that I noted down. Then I handed her the cell phone over to her. My first impression was that she had recently purged everything from her cell phone. One night, I decided to open her laptop and found the password for her iCloud account. I opened the account back up and found out that she was in a brief chat with someone and that she exchanged nudes with him. While scrolling more through her backup of her ID, I found that she had many sexual relations with many different people as well. Throughout the course of her life, she has had a lot of affairs with a variety of people from all different walks of life. As soon as I opened one of the chat sessions, I saw that she was talking about having sexual lust with one of her colleagues. Due to the fact that she was not interested in her, she expressed to her friend the fantasies that she wanted to have sexual contacts with him. Moreover, she gossiped about me to her friend about the fact that she was not satisfied with me. My jaw dropped when I saw those messages. My body got frozen there and I could not move. It was a while before I moved. At that time, I felt like I was helpless. During those moments, I started to wonder what I had been up to with her. I came to my room at the same time as I was thinking about all this, and I stared at her. In that room, she was sleeping. As I cursed myself, I realized that it was my decision to marry that slut, and I had to live with that decision. My first thought was that everyone should know about it soon. There is also a need for her family to know that what her real face looks like. A beautiful face had a bitch hiding behind it. As soon as I took the screenshots and sent them to my cell phone, the lesson I wanted to teach her was one that she would never forget in the future. As a result of her messages, I feel as if I am in a state of fire-like feelings. There was only one thing I wanted to do to her: destroy her. The next day, I went to the airport and asked for the person with whom she was cheating on me. He had already taken off on his flight. It was important to me that I caught both of them red-handed. So I decided when she would go to the airport for her job, so that I could plan accordingly. On the day she departs for the airport, I followed her. In fact, I was approaching her at that time. As well as that, I messaged her Catholic father. I received a call from him immediately and he began asking me about the incident. As soon as I told him everything, I told him to come to the airport and I would meet him there. After reaching the airport, we both walked through security. In fact, Kathy had already entered inside when I arrived. Both of us walked into the office and asked for her, as well as for that pilot as well. The pilot came after her. There was a sharp feeling in the pilot's mind that something was wrong at the moment. As he tried to escape, I stopped him before he could escape. She was shown the screenshots by me and her father together. Her father started cursing her as well as hit-starting that pilot. The security guards arrived in a short time and stopped him. I told her father that I was not interested in staying with her anymore. I would like to get divorced. She started crying and asked me if I would give her one more chance. From there, I went to complain about both of them. As a result, the airline declared them both to be criminals and against the ethics of their profession. She was also disowned by her father in addition to being told she would never show her face again in her life. The relationship with her has been broken up completely. It was one of the worst things that had ever happened to her. There is nothing worse than losing everyone in one day. It was her reward for doing such a sin behind us that she received. During that time, I told her to come back to my home for the last time in her life, pack all of her possessions, and get out of my house and my life as soon as possible. As well as losing her job, she also had to leave her home. Now she finds herself in the depths of hell. She lost everything because of her lust. There was just no way people could have known what the consequences of infidelity would be. We were fooled by the fact that they thought the secret would remain a secret until they wanted, but the truth is that a suspect always makes tiny mistake by which they can be revealed. That one incident gave me the lesson for life, not to trust blindly anyone in life, even if someone is sacrificing anything for you, but don't expect from them that they will be loyal to you.